This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast, first one of 2022, looking surprisingly like 2021.
Wait a minute, what year are we in?
Large segment of 2020, now that we mention it. Tuesday, January 4th today. Coming up, Lake Superior State University of Michigan has listed the 10 phrases that need to be eliminated from our discussions in 2022, including that being said. We have stopped saying that. And 9 others coming up later in the podcast. But of course, headlines this morning and all the discussion is surrounding the Premier of Ontario, moving us into an abridged phase 2. So if you go back to phase 2, and we were up to about phase 11, so phase 2, but the greatest hits of phase 3 included, and an undercurrent of phase 4. That's sort of where we are.
Okay, so really what we're doing is we're closing stuff down again and we're limiting capacities. And it's funny you say that this looks a lot like last year, and I think that's why I don't know about you. I got up this morning, and I know we're coming off of New Year's. I get that. It was a long weekend, but I just feel tired. Even now, I still feel tired. And after hearing that news yesterday after his news for Premier Ford's news conference yesterday, I want to say that's when it started. All of a sudden, this overwhelming, okay, what do we need to do? Well, how are we going to pivot? Mm-hmm. I hope that word's on the list. How are we going to How are we going to move with this now? Because we've now taken, and I'm not saying it's not necessary.
That's right.
But now we've taken these steps back where we thought we had left them behind. We were getting ready, and with New Year's, we thought we'd close the door and we're going to move ahead and everything's not going to be great again. But now we're taking a step back again. It's like, okay, let's do this again.
So 2 weeks for schools, 3 weeks for everything else. Mm-hmm. And that included, I think the big one is the indoor dining. We understand capacity limits. Yep. It doesn't eliminate other businesses, but the indoor dining, that's the one that hurts again in the winter time.
It does, but you can still do the takeout, drive-through, and delivery.
Right.
So you can still help out these restaurants. It does limit social gatherings now, and it does close indoor and recreational fitness facilities. So the gyms and rec centers, they are closed. Outdoor facilities will remain open. But indoor will close. Indoor meeting and event spaces will reduce their capacities. Personal care services down to 50%. I know some, that's all they went to. They didn't increase that even when they were able to. So they're kind of continuing to coast, which is nice. They will stay reopened. Retail settings, shopping malls will stay open, but only to 50% capacity. Food courts will close, though. Again, it's the food. And social gathering limits, 5 people now and 10 outdoors. 5 inside, 10 outside.
This all takes place at 12:01 a.m. tonight. Mm-hmm. The province is also reinstating that hospitals pause all of their non-urgent surgeries over the next 3 weeks as well, so that the healthcare system can just focus in on any
kind
new
of catch
cases
their breath too and get ready for it. And as you mentioned, schools, the kids are getting ready. And we knew they were going back tomorrow, but now, of course, they're going to be back online. And it was funny, and it did make me feel a little better because we were sitting around the dinner table last night. We were talking about, okay, how are we going to get our books? We do need to pick up technology. Where are we going to be with them? Because my husband and I work. So where are we going to have them based? How are they going to work? What shift are you taking? What shift am I taking, kind of thing? But at the end of it, when we had it all laid out, we had our plan made, I'm looking around and we're all sitting there and everybody's smiling and we're enjoying our meal. And I'm like, we can pivot like nobody's business, people. We are good to go. So
it's a pre-exhaustion because we've done it so often.
Yeah.
And is there an end in sight? I think that's part of the frustration.
I think that's it. We keep thinking there is.
Yep.
And then we got to wait a little bit longer. And then, no, we got to wait. And it's funny that it's coming tomorrow when today the QR codes come into effect. To show proof of vaccination, you need your QR code as of today. But as of tomorrow, a lot of these places you won't be able to get into anyway.
Mm-hmm. And part of the newness of this, and I've heard it a number of times, and by a number of times, maybe 3 or 4, but I never heard it before, was the inevitability that we're all going to get it now. People are throwing up their hands saying, well, you know what? It's just so contagious. It's just inevitable. We're all going to get it, to the point where it's that kind of thinking just makes me a little concerned. You may be right, but I don't think we should all start going out and just inviting it on ourselves.
No,
because I'm not sure that's the smartest way to go about it either. But again, can't argue with everybody. Can't argue with some people.
But as you pointed out last week, it used to be, and we were so, I don't want to say lucky, so lucky to be in this area where we had so fewer cases compared to other areas.
Right, yeah.
Like last year, you look at Toronto and it just exploded. Yeah. And we were so fortunate. Mm-hmm. And I was grateful that we had such few numbers and we were able to do what we could do last year. So it seemed very foreign. But just in the last couple of weeks, it kind of became, I know someone now, not only who had some form of COVID, but may have also passed away. It became a lot closer to home. So that idea that, we may get this, it doesn't seem as scary because I think I'm realizing that, the likelihood is, one of us, if not all of us in the household, could potentially get this. It seemed a lot more foreign, I guess, before now. So that idea is kind of creeping in more and more too, and trying to deal with that.
So wash your hands, social distance. If you're vaxxed and jabbed, should be good.
That, you know what?
Should be good.
That makes me feel better.
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes me feel better.
Could you imagine if the Omicron variant had come first, and I'm sure virologists are rolling their eyes listening, because they all listen to us right now.
Everybody listens.
It came in the order it came because that's how nature works. Delta begat Omicron. That if the most contagious one had shown up before the vaccine was available and we all got it, wow. Because Delta hit quite a blow to the non-vaccinated. And now Omicron, not as severe, thank heavens, but more contagious. I wonder what that would have looked like. But it happens in the order because that's the way nature works. The less severe one, but the more contagious one came in. So the vaccine is doing a great job of eliminating the severity if you're vaccinated.
Yes.
But the virus has, because it's alive, it's figured out a way to at least survive with the vaccine. But our vaccines have made it not as severe on us. So we'll see where this goes from here and what is next. And apparently there is another one. And I read a little bit about that this morning, but I don't know enough to talk about it. Where it was, there's now a third variant out there, and we'll see what that happens.
I think it's foolish to believe that it's going away.
Oh, no. And I'm not pretending this is the end of the road. And 2 weeks from now, we got to beat.
And that there are not going to be more. It's just being prepared and doing what we can to make the best out of the situation to protect everybody. How best can we protect ourselves and those around us?
I know my wife got rid of the Dickies-style face mask neck gaiters. Not working. Get that. They're gone. She won't even let me wear them. But she's right. She's also a medical person. Done with these. You're not wearing those. N95 or double, and part of that is let's just kick it in the ass. Enough of this.
Yeah.
Let's not be two of the people that keep this thing going. And okay, I get that. So super mask up when you're pumping gas and wash your hands and do everything we did 2 years ago when this thing started. Go back to that way of thinking and not be so lax. And then, we talked about coming in here because, she doesn't have to go anywhere to work, but I do and you do. And are you comfortable? And am I comfortable? We have all of those talks where we also talked about, well, what do we do if one of us gets it? We talked about that on the podcast.
Yeah, we did. We talked about that last week.
Because we've had people in the station here that know people that have. And now I know people that caught it over the holiday season whose families are into. So we'll see where it goes from there. But inquinty.ca, locally here in the Quinte region of Eastern Ontario, has a great article and the full update what it means locally here for these changes. So that's going on. Also, this morning we had a little bit of fun. We'll end on a lighter note this morning.
Yeah.
Thanks to our friends at Lake Superior State University, who in the past used to compile a list at the beginning of the school year on giving their professors an idea of what the incoming class, the freshmen, would know in their lives so you could relate to them. And it was an eye-opening list that became viral before people knew what viral meant. And for example, there was a time 6 or 7 years ago where they said, it's important to understand that the freshmen who are coming into university have never not known 9/11. Mm-hmm. And it was like, wow.
Yeah.
Blows
your mind.
Have probably never licked a stamp and mailed a letter.
Yep.
Have never not known 700 channels on a TV. So you get a grasp, because if you're a 60-year-old professor at university teaching the same stuff, this was a way of opening the eyes to be able to relate to students. Well, now they start a new one around New Year's, and that is what they believe to be the top 10 banished words moving forward into 2022. And I talked about that being said. that to me also sounds like, I don't want to sound insensitive, but what I'm about to say is insensitive, right? As soon as you say something like that.
That being said.
Yeah. I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but you're about to take something and say something I'm going to take the wrong way. So here are the top 10. They include deep dive.
Yes.
Which is what we say when we want to do research. We're going to take a deep dive. We can be done with that. Circle back. Circle back. That's
tired of circling back.
That being said, at the end of the day, that comes up every year.
I say that a lot.
Do you?
I do. I know I do.
Supply chain.
Yes, that was a big one last year. Yep.
The notion of asking a question but not wanting to appear to take it too seriously, asking for a friend.
That's been around a lot longer than just last year.
So maybe we need to stop saying asking for a friend. You're on mute.
I love this one.
Now,
it came true this morning, and I called it when we talked about it this morning. I said we had a staff meeting later today, a Zoom meeting. It's guaranteed at least one person. You're on mute. And I don't think we were 5 minutes into it.
And it was a manager.
And even someone else on the meeting called it. Charity, you called it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yep, I did call it. I did because it makes me laugh.
They won the charity award.
They did win the charity award.
And I hope you got the fact that I didn't say you're on mute. I did it disgustingly. You are on mute. Because that's the way we say it now.
Patience is running thin.
Other phrases also include the new normal. We've talked about that.
Yes.
I don't like that phrase at all.
Don't like that term.
And the number one phrase they said we have to get rid of is the two-word phrase. Wait, what?
Wait, what? Wait, what?
Wait, what?
I have heard that phrase in my house way more than I ever thought I would.
Boys love it?
Oh, my oldest, constantly. And I realize it's the age. He doesn't quite listen to us like he used to, doesn't hear everything, but the odd word he picks out. And then it's a, wait, what?
Wait, what?
What'd I miss? What'd you guys say?
Yeah.
What, did you just, wait, what?
So that apparently has to go. Last year, 7 of the 10 phrases that they wanted eliminated were a complete result of COVID-19.
I believe it.
This year, now just 3 of the 10 are COVID-related. The majority are conversational based. So when you're talking to people and they pull out a wait, what? For almost like no reason, or that being said, or deep dive.
You're muted, totally COVID-related.
100%. That might 100%. Be the 3. That might be 3 of them. Coming up tomorrow, we have a monumental kickoff to a Throwback Thursday when we unveil our theme and our songs tomorrow. First one of 2022 for Burger Revolution, and we are ready for it. We're ready for it.
So ready for it.
It'll be up for voting at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on our socials, on Instagram and on Facebook. And I'm giving up on you Instagrammers voting properly. You just lurk and leave. Just leave a vote, would you? Just click on one. Winning song is coming after the news at 8 o'clock. First theme of 2022, Epic. We've got that for you coming up tomorrow morning. And I know we had something today. Here's what we didn't do today. 6 ways your body would improve if you had a dry January. After the announcement, we're not giving up drinking.
No.
So we'll talk about that next year.
We'll hang on to that for this time next year.
Next year.
When things have settled down.
Right.
And we are into 2023.
Exactly. But one thing we will talk about tomorrow and spend a little bit of time with is the fact that there may be a bit of a benefit if you want to travel a bit this year.
Yes, you could see a bit of a refund on your taxes next year. Traveling within the province.
Yeah.
Which, you rose. You when I brought it to your attention, you said, okay, so people are being encouraged to travel in the province now that we are being encouraged to also stay at home.
Yeah.
But yes, to help out the tourism industry, a way that you can help your taxes next year.
And it's a year-long initiative this year to give you a break.
So it's not just this month.
Next year, right.
It's all year long that you can take advantage of this.
So that and more with Jimmy Hollywood and all that coming up tomorrow morning. Wake up with Mark and Charity Mornings. It's the Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast for Tuesday, January the 4th on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and right here off of our social media sites. Stay safe, stay warm, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning.